It is October 16th, 2025, and you are here, your number one source for probe news. This is Inverted World Live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Inverted World Live, and I'm your host, Shane Cashman. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get to some phone calls later on, about 30 or so minutes. So if you want to call in and talk to us, share a story, talk about some probe news, you can click that link that is pinned in the chat on Rumble and YouTube. We would love to hear from you. Of course, this is a Thursday night, so they say, our last show of the week. Some of you have noticed that sometimes on Friday nights we do re-air certain portions of the show from earlier in the week, so that will happen tomorrow. You'll probably see a re-airing of our interview with Rex Jones. But this is our last official show of the week, where we are here in the room. Of course, I am joined by Brandon. What's up, dude?
What is up? Welcome back, everybody. Night 4, time to get weird. Let's get into it.
Okay, so I do want to get into probe news, of course, but I'm a political junkie. I can't help but talk about politics every now and then. You know, I'm from New York, and I just want to do a quick look at what's going on in New York City right now. The mayoral debate just happened. So, Brandon, if you could pull up that live stream we have of New York City, and we can just see how it's going there. Oh, boy. That can't be good. Oh boy, I don't know if there's any fixing this, guys. I think my city's lost. Are you guys seeing this? Is this making the news yet? Is this headlines? Yeah, the live stream that we have is all over the place in New York City. This is we're using drones here to cut to different places within the city.
Yeah, no AI is being used here.
No AI at all. This does not look good. This must be Mamdani situation. Ooh, yeah. The city's not going to come back from this.
No, I don't think. Look, yep, it's already invaded the taxi system.
Illegal immigrants, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tough one, guys.
We'll just let it play for a few more. I'm very curious. Oh, that guy looks familiar, but that's right now, so I don't know who that is.
Proving once again that even with all the violence, Chicago is still the better city.
Hey, now. Let's tune into your city.
Did we just go too far?
Let's tune into your city really quick.
Yeah, we should, honestly, because I'm pretty sure it looks something like this right now.
I think so. Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to come back. I do hope they're okay out there in New York City. We can stop it there. Praying for you guys in New York City. It looks brutal out there. Anyway, have you heard about the probe, this hostile probe that's hurtling towards Earth, and how we have new news every day about it? Well, we do have new news.
Tell us more, Shane.
First of all, I want to say what's up to everybody who's just now joining us from IRL. Thank you so much for joining us. We just took a live look at New York City after the mayoral debate. Doesn't look great. Pretty bad. So you can rewind and see that. But probe news. Goodness gracious, guys. It's spewing water now. So I just want to recap really quick. You might remember the news broke about the hostile probe they call 3i Atlas hurtling towards Earth on the same day that they were talking about pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know, that was interesting to me. And at first it was just this, they were called Avi Loeb, the probe guy, Loeb the probe, Harvard professor, was saying it was an extraterrestrial spaceship flying towards Earth. We've since heard that it might be hollow. We've since heard that it might have its own light source, that it might be the size of Manhattan, that it's actually 1,000 times bigger than Manhattan, that it's a hologram perhaps. Maybe it was built on Earth. It might be fake. It's aliens, it's demons. It's just a projection. I don't know. But now it's spewing water. We have a few different updates about this. What are you thinking?
I mean, if it is what it says it is, then every now and then it's going to have to make a septic dump, right? You know, I mean,
that's
how many?
Like a tour bus.
They've got armies on 3i Atlas, then I'm assuming they're going to have to go to the bathroom once in a while. So you can only stay with that stuff for so long.
That's a great point. It's Gwar. It's actually Gwar coming. The real Gwar is returning to Earth for the halftime show, finally. So we got this from Wired. Interstellar comet 3I Atlas is spewing water like a cosmic fire hydrant. You heard it right. The comet 3I Atlas continues, and you see that this is already biased. They're immediately calling it a comet, not a hologram, not an extraterrestrial spaceship. So, we know where they're at.
Yeah, how dare you misappropriate my invasion vehicle?
Oh, I forgot to add to the list of things. It also has mini probes attached to it.
Mini probes, that's right.
And this is all the reporting. That's why I say every day there's something new with this dang probe. Anyway, 3I Atlas continues to be full of surprises, as well as being only the third interstellar object ever detected. New analysis shows it is producing hydroxyl emissions, with these compounds betraying the presence of water on its surface. The discovery was made by a team of researchers at Auburn University in Alabama using NASA's Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory, no relation to Taylor, and was described in a study published in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. Hydroxyl compounds are detectable via the ultraviolet signature they produce, but on Earth, a lot of UV wavelengths are blocked by the atmosphere, which is why the researchers had to use the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory. I hope I don't have to say that much more. A space telescope free from interference experienced by observatories on Earth. We are working on building our own observatory here. This is Brandon's idea last night. Mm-hmm. So the super chats, every one of those super chats, it's going towards the observatory that we're building on the roof of this coffin studio that we've been put in. Water is present in virtually every comet seen in the solar system, so much so that the chemical and physical reactions of water are used to measure, catalog, and track these celestial objects and how they react to the heat of the sun. Finding it on 3I Atlas means being able to study its characteristics using the same scale used for regular comets, and this information could in the future be useful data for studying the processes of comets that originate in other star systems as well. When we detect water, or even its faint ultraviolet echo, which is also OH for the hydroxyl, from an interstellar comet, we're reading a note from another planetary system, said Dennis Bodwitz, an Auburn University physicist who collaborated on the research, in a press statement. It tells us that the ingredients for life's chemistry are not unique to our own. And that must remind some of you, it was just a month ago, just a day over a month ago. I know this because this news broke on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Which was, I was going to start the show with this until that happened. And it was that NASA announced that they found basically life on Mars. And it was like small microbes, But that was the big headline of the day. And, underreported for obvious reasons. But here we are again talking about new things traveling towards Earth that may or may not mimic life. Comets are frozen hunks of rock, gases, and dust, the article says, that usually orbit stars, the exceptions being the 3 interstellar objects found so far. When they're far away from a star, they're completely frozen, but as they get closer, solar radiation causes their frozen elements to heat up and sublimate, turn from solid into gas, with some of this material emitted from the comet's nucleus thanks to the star's energy, forming a tail. And there's been a lot of discussion about what the tail is. Some people are convinced this is a comet, and that's all it is. Other people, like Avi Loeb, are convinced this is something that's been manufactured, perhaps by extraterrestrials. But with 3I Atlas, data collected revealed an unexpected detail. Hydroxyl production by the comet was already happening far away from the sun, when the comet was more than 3 times farther from the sun than the Earth, in a region of the solar system where temperatures normally aren't sufficient to easily produce the sublimation of ice. Already at that distance, however, 3I Atlas was leaking water at the rate of about 40 kilograms per second, a flow comparable, the study authors explain, to that of a hydrant at maximum power. So now it's nuclear powered, emitting its own light source, and spewing water like a fire hydrant.
We used to play in fire hydrants as kids on the south side.
Same.
That thing would put you on your ass.
Yeah.
Like, they got some water pressure behind them.
So this thing's going to be fun. It sounds like it's just gonna be fun. Like if it actually gets here, it's not supposed to get here. No one's saying
It's
actually
going to be
hitting
out
Earth.
of water by the time it gets here, I would assume, if it's...
Not if it's 1,000 times bigger than Manhattan. I mean, depending on who you listen to, who knows?
So it's a race against time to see if this thing runs out of water first or
That's
if
right.
it hits us. I wonder if they factored this into their... You remember how they, like, guessed the weight of this thing?
Oh, it's another
like a week
one.
or two ago?
Billions of tons.
Did you guys even realize it was full of water?
Right. So is it just like deflate? Is this a water balloon? Extraterrestrial water balloon that's being thrown at us. This detail, the article says, would seem to indicate a more complex structure than what is usually observed in comets in the solar system. So now they're trying to hint at the fact that this might not be a comet, even
It's
though they're
got
calling it a
plumbing.
comet.
It's got plumbing.
Right. This is a modern
There's
comet.
infrastructure in this thing. They built it like
Oh.
a suburban home.
It could, for example, be explained by the presence of small fragments of ice detaching from the comet's nucleus, and which are then vaporized by the heat of sunlight, going on to feed a gaseous cloud that surrounds the celestial body. Not a bad sentence there. This is something that has so far been observed only in a small number of extremely distant comets, and which could provide valuable information about the processes from which 3I Atlas originated. And I'll just leave. Well, we'll read this last part. Every interstellar comet so far has been a surprise. You think? Said Zexi Jing. That's my best Chinese for you, an Auburn University researcher and co-author of the discovery. NASA kicked out all the Chinese people. So what is Auburn doing? You guys might remember that story from about a month ago. I don't care if they were born here. Okay, I see the comments already. Oumuamua was dry, and Oumuamua, I just got to say, Oumuamua was also, I believe, discovered by Avi Loeb. So this guy, he's all over the probes.
As the words get better, just keep in mind that Shane wanted to read this last paragraph.
Yes, Oumuamua, Oumuamua. Oumuamua was dry. That's a
It
sentence.
sounds so bad.
That's a sentence.
Oumuamua was dry.
And Borisov was rich in carbon monoxide. What? And now Atlas is giving up water at a distance where we didn't expect it. Each one in rewriting what we thought we knew about how planets and comets form around stars. So those are the three. When it said at the beginning of the article that there's been three that Atlas has detected, Atlas is the observatory that has detected those three and a lot of other comets. That's why they named it 3I Atlas. But there you go. Oumuamua was dry. I should have titled it that.
Should have led with that, yeah.
But so there's that. This giant hostile probe is possibly a water balloon. Every day it changes, but we do have some other things attached to it. Let's go to Professor Brian Cox. I don't come up with these names, guys. That's what he was born with. I can't help it. We got probe now. I'm sorry. Chili Peen out there too.
Yeah,
Guys, you're forcing me.
Who do we blame for these
forcing
names?
me for this. So this is Professor Brian Cox explains what he finds remarkable about the interstellar object 3I Atlas. English physicist and science communicator Brian Cox has given some of his thoughts on Comet 3I Atlas, the interstellar visitor currently hurtling its way through the solar system. On July 1st, 2025. All right, I'm just going to skip that because that's kind of what I already told you guys. Let's get down to the good stuff here. Astronomers have since been tracking the object, which was confirmed to be a comet due to its outgassing. Now, look, they're trying to be the authority on this in this article, but that is up for debate. Trust me. Avi Loeb does not think that. The object has been subject to dubious speculation that it is not of a natural object, earning responses from SETI and NASA. Though there is little reason to suspect 3I Atlas is anything other than a natural object, it is of high interest to scientists and the public alike, having traveled alone through interstellar space for possibly 10 billion years. So relatable. It's just like all of us. A time capsule from an earlier age of the universe. Irritatingly, and in parentheses, it says, do better, interstellar chunks of ice, cyanide, and rock. You might remember IFL Science. I've had issues with this article with these people before. I don't like the way they write their articles. Anyway, 3I Atlas's path took it behind the sun from our perspective, but an impressive display of getting our astronomical SHIT together. Oh my goodness, they're cursing in their article. The European Space Agency was able to capture images of it as it passed by Mars using the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, while the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, also known as JUICE, spacecraft will image it as it heads near Jupiter. And you guys might remember, as we've discussed, what do we have here? Another image? Look at that. China chose not to take pictures of this for some reason, and people were worried as to why. You might also remember that China is on the dark side of the moon right now, building something. In an interview with the BBC, professor of particle physics in the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Manchester and former keyboard player for dance act, I'm not even reading that, Brian Cox, there you go, explained why he they always do this with scientists, like, just give me the name, let's just move on. Brian Cox explained why he finds the object and humanity's reaction to it remarkable, drawing particular attention to the photos taken of the object from Mars. There's an estimate a couple of days ago that it might have formed 7.5 billion years ago, he told the presenters. So it was made before the Earth and the Sun had formed out of a cloud of dust, and it's been on its journey across the Milky Way galaxy. And the thing I find remarkable, it's only 400 years ago that we were arguing about whether the Earth went around the Sun. So me and him already have disagreements on timelines, but that's okay. Now we've sent spacecraft to the planets that Kepler and others were seeing move in the sky, and we're taking photographs of interstellar comets from the surface of other planets in about 400 years. So that, to me, is a remarkable story. So he's trying to put it in context in the timeline that he believes in, which is fine, which puts the achievement in perspective nicely. While we agree with the sentiment, we should point out that though NASA was attempting to capture images of 3I Atlas using the Perseverance rover on Mars' surface, and though the object may have been caught, this has not yet been confirmed by NASA. And shout out to Perseverance. Great Hatebreed album. So there's that. I just thought that was interesting because a lot of these big name physicists are starting to weigh in. You know, I'm curious if who's gonna become, like, if it gets closer, if they're gonna really make this a threat, if they're gonna actually ramp up the narrative that this is gonna be something. Because, you know, Avi Loeb said that this thing has a bunch of mini probes on it. I don't know how he knows that, and that they might leave, like, detach from Atlas and then come to Earth. This is what he's saying. That's a guy at Harvard. You know how I feel about Harvard. But all these physicists are weighing in on it now. The story, the narrative of Atlas is ramping up. And if it does get closer, if it does become a threat, what I was thinking is, who's going to be the Fauci of Atlas? Will it be Brian Cox? Will it be Neil deGrasse Tyson? You know, I'm not a big fan of any of these people. I don't know if it'll be Avi Loeb, although he has monopolized all the news on Atlas. Maybe it will be. We'll see. But I also want to tell you guys about this warning from a pastor about 3I Atlas. And this is from WION. I'm here to warn you, the pastor claims. Ship with demonic spirits is coming for Earth. Let's hear about it. A pastor in America is claiming that God showed him a vision of an alien ship flying over the Vatican and Mayan temples in Mexico. You might have seen this video about this go viral the past few days on Twitter. Brandon Biggs said in a YouTube video that demonic spirits are coming for Earth, but he doesn't know when. Biggs' claim has gone viral on social media, especially since an interstellar visitor is racing towards the sun. 3I Atlas has been labeled a comet by scientists, but bizarre occurrences and observations have led some scientists to speculate that it could be an extraterrestrial relic. A major distraction is about to take place. I said, Lord, are there two of these? And he said, no, it's just one, Biggs said in a video as per Daily Mail. Notably, he had earlier predicted the assassination attempt on Donald Trump 3 months before it happened. That is true. That was a video. I will say, and I don't know if this is included in this article, I believe he has an under 50% like success rate with his predictions. He did call that, but I will say so did Alex Jones. You know, and Alex called it like a year ago. But I think a lot of people were expecting something like that to happen.
Yeah, but this guy's kind of claiming to be a prophet here.
He is. But I would say then a prophet is 100% right. You're not going to have a 50% error rate, in my opinion. That's according to me. You know, and I haven't really followed up, but he does make a lot of videos about this stuff. So anyway, he did say that, and he said this bullet flew by his ear and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And he said that in April last year. So that's like pretty specific. That also means maybe he was read in on it. Maybe
yeah,
it
I was going to say,
CIA.
how inside track are you to have that kind of...
If that's the case, though, then that means that was extremely planned out, down to how they...
yeah.
Right? Anything's possible,
I'd have
people.
to say so.
Anything's possible. 3 months later, a man named... Okay, we know that. Matthew Crooks. This has led people to think that his latest prediction about these travelers could also come true. What's shocking is that he has predicted one aspect about the extraterrestrial visitor exactly as Avi Loeb. The Harvard scientist has put forward several anomalies in 3i Atlas to claim that there is a 30 to 40% chance that it is a piece of alien technology. One of his theories is that this mothership could release, there you go, mini probes that will spread on different planets in the solar system and even replicate. Biggs also said the same thing about this object in July. He said, so I just want to say really quick, maybe Avi's watching this guy's videos. Maybe I should get Avi on the show. We'll see. We will see. I have not been too kind to Loeb's probe on this show, so I don't know if Loeb will want to come on the show.
The possibilities are running through my mind for titles right now. Like Talking Probes with Avi Loeb,
It's honestly worth. I will try.
The Loeb probe, and just don't tell him,
No.
Like, hey, we're gonna air this.
He'd probably like it. That's on his tombstone. There'll be his epitaph.
Well, he doesn't have a choice because we pick the titles around here. Okay.
You hear that, Loeb? The Oklahoma pastor admitted that it sounds way out there, adding, "It was way out there to me. I didn't even want to talk about it, but I'm instructed to. I'm just here to warn you." He said that everybody will freak out because they're going to see it moving across the ocean. And I just want to pause there again. I don't think anyone other than Biggs is saying 3i Atlas will actually be here. I think most are saying it's going to get somewhat close, and then they are, like Avi Loeb and others are saying it's going to almost boomerang back. I don't know how they even know that. If we've never seen it before.
They're suggesting it's going to slingshot around our planet.
I don't even think it's getting close enough.
It would have to get into our orbit in order to achieve that.
Right. So I don't know what they're thinking, but a lot of people are speculating that it might.
I mean, that
Earth.
kind of semi coincides with people that think it's going to smack the moon.
Yeah, that's right. There are those theories, and I'll go back to that article really quick, and you don't have to pull this up, but just to put it in context, and why they call this Atlas, like I mentioned, with the observatory that found it. The observatory is called the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, Atlas, and it found 3i Atlas, so that's why they named it that. But Last Alert System, this is meant for like that final warning. If you've missed something, that's many, many, many light years away, if you believe in such a thing, and it's like right here, this is the thing that's going to warn you, so they can try to warn people like, hey, leave. Like there was that meteor that hit Russia in 2013 that exploded all the glass. There's all that crazy dash cam footage of it exploding in the sky. This, they're saying, would be able to detect that, something like that. So it was found by something that is meant to detect things that could be hitting Earth. So I think some people are also running with that, being like, it might. But no one's really suggesting that.
No, not really.
I don't think it's going to. But
I think things would be in a lot bigger of an uproar, I think, if we had even the possibility that it was going to.
Unless they want it to. Unless they want to cause panic. And the closer it gets, the more they will freak us out. And they've been seeding this story, ever so lately.
Yeah, but they should be worried about this too. This isn't some like, hey, let's just hope nobody sees it until it gets here. It's going to kill them too.
Who's they, though?
Everybody. But you think this thing is going to not end the planet if it actually does hit us?
If it's as big as they say
180 miles wide and filled with water. That is the biggest water balloon that has ever been hurled at our planet.
If it's as big as they say it is. But then what if they're these people are into ancient breakaway civilizations? Like, we've discussed plenty of times. What if they've got some other plan? They can leave Earth. That's what Elon's been working on.
Why the hell would they come back?
I don't know. To feed off of us.
Unless this is the great journey off the planet. This is our Battlestar Galactica, where they're actually coming back to get us, And they're dumping all the water now to make room for us so that we can abandon the planet before it
So now you sound like Heaven's Gate.
explodes. I don't know.
That's what Heaven's Gate was.
I'm looking at all the possibilities. That's all.
That's what we're here for. So just a few more things from Biggs. There are going to be things in the sky that are going to scare everybody in the days ahead because people are going to go, oh no, E.T. really exists. No, it's fallen angels, he said. Even though his prophecy has gone viral, some people are slamming him as fake. But since his prediction about Trump came partly true, Trump did not burst his eardrum, netizens fear there is a chance that this spaceship is coming for Earth. Besides, it coincides with Three Eye Atlas and Loeb's theory that there is a possibility that it is not of natural origin. We'll leave that there for now. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I know we talk about it a lot, but isn't it interesting that almost every day there's something else? And just another brief aside, other people, other astronomers and physicians are talking about, physicists, not physicians. Clearly my children didn't sleep last night, so neither did I. But I usually can't read anyway, so I shouldn't blame it on that. But there was something called the WOW signal that I'm just going to read just a bit of this really quick. The WOW signal was a strong, narrow-band radio signal detected on August 15th, 1977 by Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope in the United States, then used to support the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and bore expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. Now, I bring this up because there are some people in the past few days who are suggesting perhaps the signal came from Three Eye Atlas. So they are just pulling out all the stops. They're reaching for everything. So that's another thing that's out there. Who knows? I don't, but you guys might. But what are you thinking, dude? Are we gonna see mini probes descend on planet Earth, or is this Project Bluebeam? Is this part of some fake alien invasion that they're ramping up? What is going on?
You're sending something of this size over here. Let's just say hypothetically that it was going to attack us. If it's not going to enter orbit and completely destroy the planet by itself, then it's got to have something that it's going to launch, right?
Right.
So we've seen it in the movies. There's all fleets of smaller ships. The Titan flies everybody in, releases all the frigates and all the heavy assault cruisers and the battleships and all that crap. And then it's all out war with those, but the motherships stay in orbit and wait. And then there what hauls the fleet out of there when everything is said and done or reoccupies another part of the galaxy.
Do we believe if this thing does arrive and some sort of species walk out, are you even going to believe that? Because I don't think it's going to be this thing where the idea of Project Bluebeam was everyone will basically, like, it will be like the day the Earth stood still. Everyone will band together and believe in this. But I think we're beyond that kind of world where conspiracy theories have gone mainstream. So part of me thinks that sometimes that's by design to destabilize reality. Although we know a lot of them are true, and a lot of them do come true when we call things out in real time. They say you're a conspiracy theorist, and then 2 years later, like, okay, they were right. But is
it fucked to think that it actually might take something like this for the planet's unity to recover? I mean, think about that. We're so divided as a species, basically, on this planet. There's over, 8 billion of us? Allegedly. Yeah. And now even more with AI assuming personalities, people that are dead that are living and still voting.
That's lots of those.
We've got a lot of people here.
Yep.
And we've never been more divided and more polarized. Even though we have access to all this information, this raw data every single day, and all of this altered data every single day. That it would take something like an alien invasion or an extinction level event to actually make people pull their heads out of their asses and all work together as a team is insane to think about.
It could
that we've gotten that far.
It could I mean, look at how COVID was.
And you still don't think it's possible, right?
Which part? The unity part?
That's even a thing. Like
the unity?
Like something like this could actually affect people in a way that would cause them to want to come together.
I think it depends on what it's going to look like. If something does arrive, I think it would have to be extremely violent.
Yeah, it's going to be World War Z, every man for himself,
But I still, even if it gets violent, like I'm saying, like invasion style, like World War Z, War of the Worlds situation, I don't know if people are going to all agree on what it is. I think a lot of people are going to think it's another country doing this. It's staged, it's manufactured, it's blue beam, and that's not to say the deaths won't be real, but it just seems like they're running out of ideas. If it's going to be something like that is a staged event.
I mean, if we're being
violence.
overrun and forced and segregated and put into slavery and murdered in droves, I don't see how anyone's going to have time to formulate an opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, there won't be time, and at that point, it's just going to be us versus them.
Yeah,
for sure.
At that point, you're just
the violence
subjugated
will make it
and it's over. That's it.
If that's what it looks like, I really hope not. But anything's possible. I mean, the world has a history of invasions from, and like you imagine.
That's how the world was built.
Yeah, it's all invasions.
It's invasions
that make no sense, right?
No.
Like when the Indians saw like Europeans come or Spaniards coming across the ocean, they're like, it almost they couldn't register what this was. It was like a different species, and that is possible. And it might not matter what it is in the end. I don't know. I just think they're ramping up something. What I've been noticing lately, and I keep talking about like something big's going to happen, and I've been thinking about the algorithm on Twitter and what people are being forced to see. I don't know if you guys are seeing the same things, but like I don't really go out on Twitter to look up something like Andrew, which is another Peter Thiel connected thing. Palmer Luckey, the guy who's basically he's got a mullet. If you've probably seen him, who's on Rogan today, I think. But everything the past 2 days on Twitter has been people promoting Andrew, which is like big war technology, and it's really interesting stuff. And I don't really have a problem with Palmer Luckey. I have issues with anything Thiel connected, but I understand the advancements in technology and why we need it. And of course, we're always at war, unfortunately, and I get it. But there's been something so odd happening about the promotion of it all of a sudden. And what is that about? Is that because we're about to go to war? Is it Venezuela? Is it something else with Gaza after what Trump was saying today with Hamas? Is it Ukraine? Is something else happening? Is it nothing? But like then Palmer Luckey's on Rogan. All these major influencers are sharing Andrew like technology and new like videos. It's the drone stuff that's been ramping up. We talked about drones in Denmark shutting down military air forces. Then before that, we had Hexeth make a video about drones. When Palmer Luckey was on Rogan today, he was talking about the Hellfire missile video of the UFO. So like he's interested in the UFO stuff. So like there's an intersection there. It seems like something's going on. And I'm not saying it's about Atlas, but it could be. It's like when I was talking to Rex Jones about his dad and how people are like, Alex is like a prophet. He gets all this stuff right. He gets a lot of stuff right because he's reading all this stuff and he's finding this narrative thread. Because a lot of the stuff is always written about and it goes underreported, but it's blasted out there. It's the info war, legit. Like, so that's why it's one of the greatest names for any show ever. But Alex is a good way of looking at all this stuff and kind of compiling this narrative thread. So it's what I'm trying to do here with all this stuff happening, the algorithm, how it's changed, what they're tweaking, what people are talking about, why are they sharing this, what are they concerned about. It just seems like it's going somewhere. It always does, right? You can kind of track these things. If you look in retrospect at certain things and go through history, you can kind of see that, it's easier in retrospect, obviously, but we're doing this in real time. And we're talking about a comet or extraterrestrial spaceship, something coming towards Earth, just a month after NASA's talking about life on Mars. We've got a guy who is trying to colonize Mars. It just seems like we're on the edge of something really crazy. But who knows? What are you guys thinking? Horror Rod says Palmer has a mullet. He is not sus. And Inner City Pigeon says Palmer is the best tech bro. He's the one that bothers me the least. Like, I kind of find him a bit endearing. He looks like he came out of some Disney movie, like Lilo and Stitch. Like he's one of those characters. And he's fascinating, and his history is fascinating. What happened with him, and I believe Facebook and stuff. But it's very interesting. I don't trust the tech bros. I'm trying to send them to Mars, honestly. Ryan Creso says Palmer seems like the only honest tech bro. He might. I mean, they are all building death machines, but the military stuff is almost unavoidable, unfortunately. But it's just imagine what he's doing with the tech stuff and how, with all his friends, especially in the Thiel circle, whether it's cloud seeding, eugenics, Orchid, Palantir, Clearview, you put all those together, that's really scary stuff. And that is what's happening. There's just there's no way around that. You put in the facial recognition stuff from Clearview, and you add that to what they're doing with the drones. We're already seeing that happen in Ukraine. Ukraine is very much a drone war, and they got drones with facial recognition, and they'll chase you down. You know, that's really wild stuff. Wild stuff. But let's get to some callers, shall we?
Yeah, totally. Let's go to. This looks like a new name. Let's take a gamble on this.
All right.
This is Meadow Knight Rider. Can you hear us? I don't have a muted mic. They are here.
Are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
How's it going?
It's going, man. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh, I didn't think that'd be the first one.
Sweet. Well, here you are.
Welcome
You
to
won
the
the
show.
lottery.
Awesome. Well, I had a story about some witches, if you guys are interested in that.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
So to give you a little context, I come from a long line of Mennonites. So my grandfather was a Mennonite pastor. He kind of left the more the conservative Mennonites, kind of the black bumper, more Amish Mennonites. When he was, I guess probably when trying to think. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So.
Oh, don't be. Well, look, I'm always interested in Mennonites. I know a bunch. Is there a reason, before we get to the witch story, is there a reason he left the Mennonite?
Well, he was a missionary in Israel right after World War II. So he worked with a lot of Holocaust victims, people moving back to the area.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was but there were a lot of other Christian groups there, specifically Baptists. And kind of what they realized was some of the more traditional aspects were a bit of a stumbling block for other people. So my grandmother stopped wearing like her head covering, and they just tried to, I guess, be more approachable. But anyway, when they moved back to the States, they were part of a church in Virginia, along with my uncle, who's their son-in-law. They were kind of on the leadership team. My uncle's like the associate pastor there. My grandfather was kind of like the more of a father figure type. He kind of was like the mentor to the leaders, I suppose, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the church has been really successful. Things have been going really well. And the lead pastor there wanted to kind of start a larger network. And so he was kind of stepping away from that specific campus and wanted to kind of be over some other ones. And the guy that he had put in place, my grandfather had some real questions about him. I wasn't sure. But this newer guy reached out to my grandfather and said, "I really respect you." I can't remember exactly all of the reasons why, but he really wanted to meet with my grandfather and say, "Can you please pray for me? I'm having some struggles." So my grandfather, goes in, has this meeting with them. So a little more context. My grandfather was blind because a whole nother story. But basically, a Jewish occult group blinded him when he went in for some eye treatment.
What?
Yeah, really weird. So that's another story for
Okay.
another day.
Yeah, we'll like to hear that story. We do want to hear about witches, but that's crazy. Like totally
Yeah.
blind?
Like he could see shapes of people, but he wouldn't be able to recognize you.
Wow.
So yeah, so he really can't see. But so he's in this meeting with this pastor. As he's praying for him, he kind of spiritually saw this black tentacled creature coming out of him that had one single red eye, and obviously that was really disturbing, and it felt really significant to my grandfather. He was really troubled by that.
Wow.
Shortly after that, my uncle had come into the church. He was the first one there, and something had happened where chairs were thrown around, tables were thrown around. People had somebody had urinated over a whole bunch of the furniture and the pews and things. But they decided to kind of keep it a little bit hush hush, just because they didn't know what happened, who had done it. They didn't want to disturb the rest of the congregation, so there were only a handful of people that knew about it. And it was all just kind of the main pastoral staff, including my grandfather and my uncle. A year or two goes by, and my grandfather meets this woman that had started coming to church, and they strike up a conversation, and she said, I have something I need to tell you. And I said, oh, okay, well, like, tell me what's on your mind. And she says, well, I recently accepted Jesus into my life and wanted to start coming to church and pursue that. But before that, I was a witch, and I was in this group of witches. And she said, our goal was essentially to go around and defile churches, and they would go and they would, I guess it was essentially they're kind of like this witchcraft type stuff they would do in the church that included, urinating on things and throwing things over and defiling it in all these other ways.
Yeesh.
And she said, we tried, we had been going around to these different churches and doing this. She said, and we came to your church, and we drove up the hill, and we opened the doors to get out of the car, when suddenly this massive wall of fire dropped between us and the church, and we were gripped by such fear that we just got in the car and left. And we'd never encountered anything like that. And she said, I really believe that was the power of God and his blessing over the church.
Wow.
And then she said, a little bit of time went by, and we heard that there was a change in leadership, and so we wanted to try again to see if this time, if it was something that we could do our witchcraft in this church. And so this was around the time when my grandfather was having this meeting where this black tentacled creature was coming out of this man who had been selected to be the new pastor of the church. And then this time they weren't impeded at all, and were able to go in and do their witchcraft.
Wow.
But that was always my grandfather wasn't. I think the Mennonite context is important because he was not a sensationalist at all, and he was never like he believed in the Holy Spirit and things like that, but he was never kind of charismaniac type, I guess, is some people refer to them.
Right.
But yeah, not sensationalist. So it was a very unique story coming from him.
Right.
But
Gave it a little more weight hearing it from him. The one lady went and said she found Jesus afterwards?
she did, yeah. And
And
then
did
she
people-
started attending that church because I don't know if maybe it was because it was the one church where she felt like that there was, the power of God was there or something.
Did everyone there
I'm
know?
not sure why.
Do you know if did everyone know hey, this is the witch that peed all over the place?
As far as I know, there's probably just a handful of us that know.
And do you believe did everyone believe her that she actually had that change of heart?
It seemed pretty evident, but she
Right.
also knew things that obviously no one outside of a small handful of people would have known. And it wasn't talked about in the congregation at that church.
That's wild.
So it was, obviously maybe she was lying about part of it, but she clearly knew it was clearly a part of the defiling of the church.
Right.
But just the fact that they weren't able to get in the first time because of a wall of fire.
I got a question here from Ira. This is a good. How old were they? I would give or take.
How old are the witches?
Yeah, yeah.
I think, well, I couldn't speak for all of them, but the one woman, she was, 30s or 40s. She wasn't old, but also wasn't super young.
Okay. Very interesting. So there's just bands of witches going around defiling churches.
Piss witches.
Piss
Right.
witches. That's a band name.
Yeah.
Holy moly. That's insane.
And I'm not the only one who's got that. I'm looking at chat right now, and I see other people calling them piss witches too. That's the first thing I thought when he said it, and I was
Piss
trying
witches.
really hard not to laugh because I was like, "Oh my god, this is a coven of piss witches."
Wow.
Yeah, that's the first I've actually heard of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone else.
No, usually they're
Talk about
setting
piss
fire
witches,
to
yeah.
stuff, painting blood on the walls, sacrificing chickens and shit, but this is no, we're just going to run over to the church and just piss everywhere.
Man, there are some of my favorite witch stories came from Nathaniel Hawthorne, who is a short story writer from where was he? Somewhere in New England, and his great grandfather was one of the judges at the Salem witch trials. So Nathaniel had some weird guilt over it all. So he was kind of like a liberal about the whole thing. Put that aside, he wrote some of the scariest stories about witches in those times, and they weren't going around doing stuff like that. But there are scenes, and this is from I think the early to mid 1800s, that he's writing about these witches doing crazy stuff in the woods, in the woods outside of where the Puritans were living, that are kind of similar to what you're saying, and it's insane. I think this stuff's been going on for a long time, and still going on, clearly.
Yeah, it seemed like such a specific practice that I wonder how long that particular coven has been around. Maybe quite a while.
I would say so. Well, that's a great story and crazy. I appreciate you sharing. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I just had one other weird little news thing I saw that I thought you might be interested in.
Cool.
I was for a little while. My wife and I ran an orphanage in Zambia, Africa. So I kind of keep up with the local news, just see what's going on. It's a small country, 4 million people.
Right.
But I saw it was actually it was almost a month ago, I think. There was an article by The Guardian where there were two men who were arrested for an assassination attempt on the current president, which maybe that in and of itself isn't that odd, but some of the details were very strange. They were hired by, so they were discovered, I think, in a closet or something by a maid.
Whoa.
But they are hired by the opposition leader to perform assassination by witchcraft.
Whoa.
So they had some unidentified white powder, some animal tail, red cloth. There was just these assortment of items, and they were doing witchcraft.
Holy
And
crap. I see it. I'm looking at the headline right now, africanews.com. Zambia, 2 men sentenced for attempting to kill president with witchcraft. Dang, dude.
yeah, so I thought that theme might tie in nicely to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird story.
Well,
The same thing also came out, the Charlie Kirk shooting. They
Yes.
were saying that
You're right.
somebody had paid
Yeah.
witches a couple of weeks beforehand to curse him.
You're right. And they and then
wow.
they were saying that they went and were praying about that. I think the day before he was assassinated.
So this witchcraft assassination thing might not just be like a one-off thing. This might be a whole thing, huh?
Yeah. No, I take this seriously. I mean, you know, I'm reading
Yeah.
the Bible and it's in the Bible and it's an issue. But like I've also been around witches. And like I just told the story the other night, so I won't repeat the whole thing. But I met a bunch in Georgia that were quite literally in like chats, like public forums, talking about how to kill people with putting hexes on them and making little dolls and doing all this stuff. So, you know, you don't have to believe in it, but there are people who certainly believe in it. And that's crazy, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, outside
Yeah.
of the movie The Craft, I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, dude. No, it's based on reality. I think a lot of this stuff is.
For sure.
Well, thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah.
And thanks for the stories.
Thanks for letting me call in.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Do call back.
All right. I have another crazy story about a demon room. Maybe I'll share sometime.
Fantastic.
We'd love to hear it. Thanks, man.
All right. All right. Have a good night.
You too. So that's crazy. A court in Lusaka has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison with hard labor for attempting to kill the country's president with witchcraft. It's a first in Zambia. 2 men were convicted on Monday, this is from September, of attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hichilema, with a court sentencing them to just 2 years. I mean, that's 2 years seems kind of
Was
late.
it Hichilema?
Hichilema.
Hichilema and the Witch Dilemma?
Not,
Let's go.
man. We have so much merch we need to
I'm
make.
just pumping them out tonight,
You're
man.
killing it, dude.
Piss Witches and the Piss Witches of Eastwick. What else we got? I already see people going nuts in chat.
We got to do it. Okay, so they were arrested last December after a cleaner reported hearing strange noises in a room. The 2 men were found in possession of a live chameleon, an unidentified white powder, a red cloth, and an animal's tail, all of which they reportedly planned on using in a ritual that would cause death within 5 days, as explained by Fury, according to a magistrate. The court convicted both men under the Witchcraft Act,
Wow.
a law criminalizing witchcraft dating back to the colonial era under British rule. Maybe you got to bring that back. President Hichilema has increasingly been accused of using the courts to silence his opponents and more generally crack down on free speech in Zambia. Witchcraft has also played a major role in the ongoing dispute concerning the body of late President Edgar Lungu, who is currently awaiting his funeral in a morgue in South Africa, as the Zambian government insists that he should be buried in Zambia, despite this going against his family's wishes. The current president's insistence on Lungo's burial in Zambia has fueled rumors that the president would want to use his former rival's body for occult purposes, an accusation denied by the government. Dude, the world is going mad. The world's been mad.
What in the hell?
What is going on?
What is up with people in exhuming bodies
Yeah, I mean,
and doing weird shit with them?
we were just talking about it with Seamus, was that last week, about the old story in the Vatican where they had that one pope and they dug up the old pope and put his dead body on trial. That's a crazy story. It's a wild story. And this is really nothing, you know, we also had Nero in Rome who... I
This is
forget
necrophilia, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like by definition, this is
Necrophilia.
necrophilia. Okay, if they return any of these beings to a living state, let me know, because then we've crossed the fucking line. But right now,
Yep.
I'm like, do you need to dig up a dead body and put it on trial?
It's wild
What
stuff.
the hell purpose does that? He's not really
stuff.
there anyway.
Yeah, it was like a symbolic thing. I mean, it was crazy. It's
I
really
mean, we got
crazy.
dead people voting in the United States. This is the second time I've mentioned it this show.
We had a dead person as a president.
They might as well be hanging out with us because they're picking our presidents.
Yep. Man, it's crazy. And what was I just going to say? I had a thought. Oh, that assassination attempt reminded me of the Haitian assassination, presidential assassination from 2021. There wasn't witchcraft involved as far as we know, although we know there's some witchcraft going on in Haiti. And but that story was crazy because we eventually found out that we had our own informants taking part in that assassination, American informants. And then later on, we'd find out that maybe the president's wife, was involved in it as well. And she got shot in the leg during the assassination. She was in bed with him when it happened. They ran into their house and took him out. That's a crazy story. There's something just going on everywhere. I mean, Shinzo Abe, just a few years ago, was assassinated. Look what we were going on with here. Leading up to the last presidential election in Mexico, 30 assassinations. I was going to say attempts. No, 30 assassinations of people running for office. We had that sheriff, the young lady who had her head cut off by a cartel and put on her cop car.
I was going to say with cartels, that's really not like unheard of.
Not unheard of, but
anybody they don't want in office is getting shot.
But just imagine 30. Imagine 30 of our politicians right now. I mean, we've had a few attempts. We've had a few actual assassinations.
Say we have had some people killed.
We had the Minnesota stuff. We're going through a ton of stuff here. Political violence.
That's just this year.
These are right before COVID. We had the Yellow Vest riots in France. Those are the longest sustained riots I think in history, and those were insane. And that was because the gas tax, and those are the farmers revolting against the elites because they didn't want to go through the gas tax. We've had all these coups. We pulled up the video from Myanmar. There's been 2 others. South Korea right now is going through something crazy where the last president, who's kind of a right-leaning guy, I don't know the story fully, but from what I understand, he became, I don't know if paranoid is the right word, but he got a little wild and then became basically an authoritarian. They threw him out. And now the left has come back and is going extra crazy. That's going on there. And it also seems like they went through this weird online campaign with their influencers to help, dictate this narrative one way or the other. We're experiencing a global phenomenon right now. And it's we're all so deeply invested in what's going on in our own backyard, rightfully so. I don't really want to be the world police. But I think we should be paying attention to all this stuff. Because it's we looked at, England, the UK looked at us when Trump won. We were looking at Brexit. You kind of understand, people look at Canada, be like, what are they doing there? How long till that's here? They have the MAID program. You look around the world to see what's going on, to see what's eventually coming to your shore. It's just wild out there right now. That's crazy hearing that about Zambia. Well,
Stay Space says we need to bring back hard labor in the prison system. That would help solve some of the crime. Debatable.
Hard labor. Yeah. I'm for it. Let's do it.
I'm down, but debatable.
Yeah. You never know what's going to work,
Incarceration has never scared people in power because it's you're putting them in a box where they ultimately are going to end up in control as well.
Yep.
And it's almost easier for them in prison. Some people choose a life of incarceration because of the things that they can achieve in prison, not outside.
Yeah.
The crazy reality of it.
Yeah. You ever Fix the Machine said they're killing ostriches in Canada. That's a story I've seen just a bit of, but it's crazy. I think Viva Frey has been following.
Why?
There's a farm. I don't know the full story, but it sounds insane. So maybe we should get someone to talk about that. That'd be cool. So let's get to another caller.
Yeah, let's do it. If you're just joining us on Rumble, welcome. We are on the phones right now talking to everybody about everything, so feel free to call in. The links are pinned in the chats on both Rumble and YouTube. Let's bring in, going from the bottom up today, Zero the Wizard.
Uh-oh.
Zero, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
We can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
we're here. Can you hear us?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. You guys can hear me, right?
We can. Can you hear?
Yo.
We are
Hello?
here.
Okay. The audio is a little weird. I'm still trying to get used to this.
Okay. Can you hear us all right now?
Yeah, I think I can.
Cool.
I think I can.
What's going on?
So, for me, I'm an astrologer and a numerologist, right? So that's mostly what I practice, right?
Mhm.
So I'm kind of here to talk about numerology and astrology a little bit. Now, as far as topics, I was kind of just making notes really quick. But I don't know if you want me to talk about the numerology side or astrology side, because they can be a little bit different.
Well, although I don't really partake in either, but let's hear about the astrology side since we're talking about, had some constellation talk.
So, as far as the astrology side, the most recent event that happened in history is a basically a placement called K2, and K2 is a eclipse, right? So when the lunar eclipse went over Britain, that is when the raise the flag event or raise the colors event happened. It happened during the lunar eclipse of K2. And what K2 was moving through was Leo, and because it was moving through Leo, it essentially made the planets, it basically made people want to become more nationalist again. It brought back nationalism in a sense.
And what are you basing that on? Like, is there, if you're looking at astrology, is
Well,
there a history of this that you're seeing a pattern?
yes. So whenever there's like, if you have someone with a lot of Leo placements, especially when it's in K2, because K2 is like your highest goals in life, your highest points.
Hmm.
It's mountains. You know, you have to climb a mountain. In order to do that, essentially, whenever it's around Maga or Leo, that is the point of royalty in the nakshatra system or the system of astrology.
So you're saying now that because of that, there's been a rise in nationalism.
Yes.
Uh,
And
Go on. Sorry.
sorry, I was trying to get more notes before I got on here. The you can also look at like other points in history where like Saturn will go into Leo, so that means that like more people will get into like kind of nationalist work because Saturn is the workplace. Or like you can see how different transits essentially affect how people are going to go in mass scales.
Okay, you brought up Saturn. What? Any thoughts on like Saturn worshippers? Does that fall into your purview at all?
The thing with Saturn worshippers is that people are gonna have to worship Saturn because Saturn is essentially hard work, manual labor, and slavery. So you have to go through all this kind of pain and suffering, and it's basically the planet people want to worship because it makes people want to work.
When you say they're going to have to, what do you mean? Like you're saying
Like it's
globally?
the yeah, globally because we live on Earth and the planets move around us, and because the planets move around us, they basically affect how we move. So whenever Saturn goes into Leo or Saturn goes into certain signs, people are going to want to work more.
It seems like the Saturn worshippers, as far as I know, kind of promote worldwide slavery, which kind of
Yes.
is like working. And I'm not gonna worship that. If you get into like the whole black cube aspect of the Saturn worship and how that shows up around everywhere in all cultures and many religions, and what it means to contain existence within the cube and structure, much like how it looks from the Borg in Star Trek. Uh, I don't want anything to do with that because it seems antithetical to free will.
Yes, it is in a sense, right? Because the part of it that they're giving this power planet, right? They're worshiping this planet to basically give it power over us and basically have more control over us.
Do you think of thinking of this? What do you think about like NASA doing something like the Apophis rockets? Did you follow that story at all?
No, I have not.
Do you know what
But if
Apophis
you
is?
if you would explain it to me, I might be able to have a
Yeah,
take
so
on it.
you brought up the eclipse, right? And I guess it was 2 Aprils ago we had that solar eclipse, and on that same day, NASA launched these rockets towards the eclipse. They named it Apophis, I believe. There's two different names for Apophis. I can't remember the other one, but whatever. They both mean the Egyptian god of chaos. So what do you think of something like that? NASA conducting what seems to me like a ritual into the solar eclipse while using the name of a god of chaos.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense because what people don't understand is you have the lunar eclipse K2, which is intuition, it's moving directionlessly, it's being quiet and silent. It's the sign of this, it's the planet of the serial killer, actually, I should say. Now, Rahu is the planet of the killer that's out at front. It's the soldier, it's the guy that's on the front line, it's the guy that smokes and it's the smoke screen. It's the violent and the yelling and the raging. So it is a very chaotic thing to be for the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is chaotic, where the lunar eclipse is more like a serial killer.
And any thoughts on this three eye atlas thing that's coming towards Earth?
I think I missed some of that. I kind of got here a little bit late.
Oh, it's all
This is
good.
my first time
There's
watching you
a
guys. So.
there's a well, thank you, and thank you for being here and calling in. There's a what they're calling a hostile probe moving through space towards Earth. So I was curious if that fell into any of your research.
A hostile probe moving towards Earth. Maybe there's some kind of like maybe it is a ritual, right? Because a lot of these planetary things, you know, you'd want to do planetary rituals, right? By giving people more attention to it through the collective consciousness. So I mean, there could be something there.
Okay. And are you saying that you think we should be worshiping Saturn, or is that something that you're saying other people are thinking?
I think Saturn is a form in our reality of life, right? Like you're always going to need people to work hard, but you're also going to need freedom. Now, what planet gives freedom? It's Mercury. Mercury is freedom. Mercury is the want and will to communicate.
Yeah. I mean, I have a hard time buying into that stuff, but I do also know that a lot of people believe in it, especially the Saturn stuff. You know, the more I'm
Yeah.
looking into it, that stuff I think is actually detrimental and evil. The way people are saying that we should be worshiping this, the Saturn worshipers, the people who basically want to be a god, who want to control time and contain existence. It seems like what they're promoting is worldwide slavery. Like we will be like a labor camp.
Saturn is actually the slowest moving planet around us, right? If you were to look at all the seven main luminaries, right, excluding Neptune and Uranus and Pluto, the seven main luminaries, the farthest planet you can see is Saturn, and it's actually the slowest moving planet. It moves maybe like it basically takes like a full month to move 1 degree.
So what does that
So it takes
mean?
a full month.
What
Oh,
does that
sorry.
mean? What does that mean to you in terms of all this?
Meaning that that is the planet of time. So that's another reason why people want to worship Saturn is because it's the control of time too.
It's wild stuff, man. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Anything else I want to add? Would you be willing to give your birthday for a numerology reading?
Oof, I don't want to partake in this.
If the other co-host would be up to, I'd
Brandon
be
can.
happy to.
I am not an astrology guy, but I appreciate it. It's more of Shane's ballpark, the heavens, not me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it though, brother.
but if you guys would like one, you know, I'd be happy to give you guys one.
Well, I'm good, but you can always call back. I'm interested in this stuff. You know, I really don't partake in it. But like I said, a lot of people take this stuff very seriously, and the Saturn stuff is very interesting and I think concerning. And I don't think people are aware of how much the Saturn stuff in particular, I mean, a lot of this, but the Saturn stuff in particular plays such a major role in our lives today. And
It does.
from like,
Especially when it pertains to sacrifice, right? Because for instance, because Saturn takes so long, sometimes they will wait 35 years to sacrifice people in the name of Saturn.
right, like, so they have a different concept of time, which then connects to the idea of these transhumanists, and I think some of them are Saturn worshippers. I mean, literally, I think Elon is a Saturn worshiper. Go look at what Grok looks like, the image of
And
Grok.
to do that, you have to understand the metric in which we base time. The metric in which we base time is traditionally either the moon or it is the sun. So the sun is the base metric. That is the Gregorian calendar. That's where you take the sun, and then it moves 1 degree a day, and the chart is 360 degrees. So that's why we have 360 days in a year.
Yeah, and then they're looking at it like they have a much longer timeline, maybe even a longer lifespan, as in a transhumanist. So even their idea of consequences are different. So when you're talking about this 35 year of planning a sacrifice, I believe that that's happening. I believe they plan out things way in advance. I mean, we know just different governments wargaming things out before they happen and really like looking at all of us like it's a giant chessboard. And so like when I say Saturn worshipers and there's big ones like right now, I tend to think Elon is one. The Grok image looks like Saturn. He says it's something else, but I think these guys do kind of worship that stuff.
It is Saturn.
It's totally Saturn.
It is.
It's like
It is.
Don't lie
It's
to
a
me.
joke if they tell you otherwise.
Right.
Like these people study astrology, they understand this stuff because astrology is the best metric for time. Even if you don't learn astrology, astronomy still helps because how do you even know how long our calendar is or how it was made if you don't understand even the basics of astronomy.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend who was deeply into astrology and astronomy. Very interesting lady, but she also was, we're no longer friends. And it's not because of this, really. But she was, as it turned out, a witch. Not something I knew earlier on, but when that was exposed and, my life went in a different way, becoming a Christian, me and her really drifted apart. She's a much older lady, but a family friend, but it was very bizarre, the stuff that she was really getting into. And I think the witchcraft aspect, we were just talking about it, extremely dangerous stuff.
Yeah, and magic is very real, right? Like you can literally go into the CIA Project Gateway tapes, right? And the Project Gateway tapes are actual training tapes to teach you how to remote view and practice magic. And I'm not talking about like some stuff, it's actually very real and more concrete than other forms of practicing.
Absolutely. We did a show on that about a year ago, and they've had remote viewers try to remote view Mars. Honestly, I was just thinking about this before the show started. I'm surprised we haven't seen the government have a remote viewer try to remote view this hostile probe I was telling you about. They probably are. They're just not telling us about it.
They wouldn't, because our government wants no business with psychics. There's a podcast you can even watch. It was his guy is named Joe McMongle, and he was the first guy to do the remote viewing project, right?
Yep.
And he even talks about like all of his experiences. It's a very profound episode if you watch it. It's on the Sean Ryan podcast.
I watched. I mean, he did that one on the day he was supposed to die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, but, it is very profound though.
Yeah. Profound. And a lot of those remote viewers that our government hired happen to be Scientologists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just people that were in the cult in general, like Satanists, or because the cult is hidden. The cult in astrology is the eighth house. So the eighth house is what you keep secret. It's what you keep hidden. It's the skeletons in your closet.
Yep.
And it's naturally ruled by the sign of Scorpio, which is hidden underground.
Yeah, that's their currency. That's the occult. It's the hidden, right? And I don't think it's unique to just like one sect of society. I do think it's widespread. I do think it's a lot of elites, and it's interesting stuff. Well, I appreciate the phone call, man.
Yeah,
it's fascinating stuff, and feel free to call back.
Of course.
Awesome, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Tim Neal, thank you for the super chat. I told you before to look at the ostrich farm in Canada. Do a deeper dive into it. They're killing these birds because of their beneficial benefits or their natural immunity for the bird flu. Huh. Really? Okay. Well, I do remember you saying that, and I do want to know more about it because it's insane. Totally insane. So let's get to another caller.
All right. Let's go to Stephen Wolf.
Nice.
Well, hello. How you guys doing?
Stephen, welcome
We're
back.
good, Mr. President. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I just got back from overseas, very exhausting, and gave Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom.
Amazing. How are you holding up?
They won't give me a peace prize, though. They won't give me a peace prize, but bunch of countries are nominating me now.
Do you want it, Mr. President? Do you want something like that that's been so defiled by other war criminals like an Obama?
Oh, Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. He got it for doing nothing. I went and solved 8 wars, and I don't even get a Nobel Peace Prize. I did it myself.
It's meaningless. I think it's meaningless.
It is meaningless, to be honest with you.
You're better than that. We don't need that stuff. We got to stop looking for, validation from these things.
I'm trying to get into heaven, That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, let's talk about that. That made me very sad, this not getting to heaven remark. What is that about?
I think that the whole not getting into heaven remark is like, look, really, to be honest with you, none of us deserve heaven, right? Because we're all fallen.
Uh-huh.
But, Christ went through and died on the cross, rose again 3 days later,
Mm-hmm.
and like died for our sins and everything. So
Do you think that he's saying that because he's a believer?
I think that Trump's actually being humble
Mm.
and humbling himself.
Most people thought he was just admitting to having a life of sin.
Well, everyone
Well,
does.
Well, everybody does have a life of sin.
Sure.
Everybody does.
I think people are perpetrating that maybe he has a little bit more than the rest of us do.
Like and that maybe that's the interpretation. That it's been weighing on him, and he feels like he can't.
Right.
Well,
I don't know how he.
you gotta remember he's had casinos, and gambling's not really good, and he's been married 3 times now, and
Right.
so it's like, okay, I can kind of see where he's coming from, and he's had to make deals and stuff over the years with his businesses and stuff, and he's had to sometimes be nasty to some people because it's just how the game works.
I would add that maybe even more than most of that is being a president and having to approve the death of people, even bad people.
Yeah,
that
too. That's a big enchilada.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Although he's proud of it. It's still I'd imagine it weighs on him. But the comment made me very sad for him. It seemed like it came from a very somber place.
Yeah. Well, I think he's actually being humble about because like I said earlier, none of us deserve to be. None of us actually deserve heaven because our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is a perfect God, and we are not perfect. We are fallen, but we are saved by His grace.
I think it's also perhaps
And
Trump doesn't have
it's not deeds that get you in. It's finding Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
And repenting is what will get you in.
I also think he might not have the sharpest handle on theology.
Probably not.
We've heard him talk about the Bible before, but regardless, I'm praying for him, and he's gone through some wild stuff. I mean, we're all flawed and we're all human. So
from what I've heard, ever since the bullet went past his ear, that kind of really changed him a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I was in Milwaukee. I was actually on a plane flying on my way to Milwaukee to the RNC when he was shot. And I can tell you, first night of the RNC, when he got there, Lee Greenwood was there singing "God Bless the USA" like 5 times throughout the week. Every time Trump entered, the Pfizer Forum, where we had the RNC, Lee Greenwood would get up there and sing "God Bless USA" as he walks in. And when the first time he walked into a Warriors heroes welcome.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, there wasn't a dry eye in that entire building.
Yeah, that was epic.
It was. I still go back on YouTube and stuff and pull that video up and watch that video over and over again.
Crazy.
And I've met Trump's kids already.
Yeah.
I met Tiffany, and I met his daughter-in-law Laura, and Eric, and Don Jr.
When I met Don Jr., I asked him to please make his dad release every bit of UFO information. He said his dad didn't care about UFOs. That was like 4 years ago. And hey, we're getting some hearings.
Yeah, we're starting to get some traction there. I mean, Anna Luna, and that committee that she's on, that's supposed to be releasing a bunch of this information and having hearings and stuff. And I think it's good that we're having hearings.
Yep. Yep, I agree.
I think we need to know more about the stuff. I'm still waiting for the 9/11 stuff.
Tucker's putting out a series right
Because-
now. It's pretty interesting, but we should get something
Yeah,
from the government.
And you know, I'm about your age, Shane. Like I might be maybe a year or two younger.
You're 65.
Like I was in seventh grade when everything happened on 9/11.
Yeah.
And that changed our country and our lives forever. Like our generation had to go fight a war for that shit. And we still never really got the real answers on what really happened and who was really behind it.
Yeah, we shouldn't have gone to that war.
No. And we went to other wars for no reason at all either.
Mm-hmm.
Like Iraq, we should have never been there. We should have never been in Syria. We should have never been in Libya. We should have never been into any of these countries.
Yeah, I agree,
Spent
man.
$1 and we spilled a lot of blood over there. And I got friends and family of mine that have been over there that came back, and they're not the same people they were before they went over.
Look, I grew up next to a military base. My parents were coaches for the equestrian team. We lived on this farm in the woods. So cadets from the academy would come ride their horses. And
Right.
they were like my older brothers and sisters. And then in high school, 9/11 happens. A lot of them have graduated. They're now, a lot of those guys become leaders. And a lot of these people who I consider my older brothers and sisters, some of them came back okay. I mean, okay physically. But some of them did not come back well. And I always think of one in particular who came back, someone I really, really looked up to. He was like an older brother. And I mean, it's just horrific. It's hard to even say like what happened, but I've said it before on the show, but he drove his car into a lake and took his life and his children's life. And this is someone who I was very close to as a kid into my young teens. And they came back from what was going on over there, and it was just insane. And unfortunately, it's not unique to just that war. That's just war, right?
Right.
But the fact that we sent them there for nothing over lies is evil.
Yeah,
That's why we
absolutely.
do deserve more answers with this stuff. I don't know if we'll get it, but I do recommend Tucker's thing because he's given out. I mean, if you've been following 9/11, I don't think a lot of it will surprise you, in terms
Right.
of what he's putting out there. But it's good that other people are watching it and looking into it because it was a giant fear ritual that changed America.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And they pushed more fear on us with the anthrax stuff right after it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they were like, "Oh, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq," and
do you know where that anthrax was tracked to?
oh yeah, Fort Meade.
Right in Frederick, Maryland. Right? Wasn't that Frederick? Right? Was it Fort Meade? I thought it was another one in Maryland, the one that had the
It was
monkeys.
Fort
actually.
Meade. I'm pretty sure it was Fort Meade.
Right. Whatever it was,
Laboratory.
it was one of our own places.
Yeah,
and that
then
caused
they
a major
pushed-
panic.
Then they pushed the DC sniper. Remember that?
Of course.
Where it was for white vans and shit.
Yep. Yeah, man. It's really, really sad the way the government's been completely weaponized against us. How they just sacrifice our own innocent people for their own agendas, for their own corruption, their own greed. It's really for their own regime changes. We might be seeing more of that soon. I really
I think we got to stay out of that regime change bullshit and stop getting drug into this stupid crap. And like what you were saying with the one guy that you looked up to that killed himself after going over the war. There's a couple guys in my old. I was in the Guard, and I was in the reserves, and we had guys that went over. They got attached to other units and stuff, and they went over, and they were in like Ramadiak, 05, 06, and a couple of these guys in my platoon, they went over there before I graduated, before I joined. Like they got back right joined, and some of these guys in my platoon and in my company committed suicide like years later. And I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, the amount of drug use I've seen and the suicides is it's just astronomical. It's so terrible.
Yeah, and then we got up to 22 veterans a day, and that was sickening.
Unbelievable. It's terrible.
Like-
I want to get to other calls before we get out of here for the week, but I wouldn't mind if you don't mind.
You're doing a great job, Jane. You're doing a fantastic job, and Brandon, you're doing a good job too.
We're just if you could offer for the audience some positive words of encouragement, Mr. President, as before we go to another caller, that'd be great.
Folks, look, we have good things coming. Okay, we just got Bolton indicted. We got Comey indicted. We got Letitia James, fat ass Letitia James indicted. Look, the indictments are coming. There's a lot more coming. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We got things coming down the pike, and you're going to see it coming. And we're going after these people. And hopefully we get them indicted and we got them in jail. We put them in jail. We're going to lock them up. Maybe we'll even get Hillary. We'll be able to lock her up finally after all these years.
Let's do it.
I should locked her up in 2017 when I became president.
It's about time, Mr. President. Well, thank you so much.
So damn crooked.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's always a pleasure. Have a great
Absolutely.
weekend.
Have a good weekend, boys. Take care.
Salute.
Spit out my drink.
Yeah, I saw that.
Spit out my drink.
If I had drink in my mouth, it'd probably be outside of my mouth by now too. He got me with the fat ass.
Yeah, that's exactly where he got me.
That destroyed me.
Wings, Wags, PA3, QOT19. Thank you so much for the super chat. We were putting that in the observatory shoebox where all our money's going for the observatory that we're building. Thank you for this. Ostrich Farm, they started ours with 400 plus birds. They are down to around 180. They had avian flu a year ago and lost 60 birds. Have lost none since then. The remaining birds have immunity and are used to develop vaccines.
I think this person is in the Zoom ready room.
Interesting. I just want to read one more from Keel Dixon 4748. Thank you so much for the super chat. Reading Mind War by Aquino. Aquino? Oh, yeah. Oh, the guy. Mm-hmm. The guy. It's dedicated to Lilith. Oh, how am I not? I'm not surprised. Ionizing the air is a preferred method of passivity of masses. Magnetic fields can be used to erode morality.
5G.
This fool loves acronyms like every bureaucrat. I gotta read it. Thank you for reminding me about that. That guy was insane. Okay, and Faith Takes You Far.
Just
thank you for the chat.
Threw us $5. Thanks.
Thank you so much, guys. That's amazing. You guys rule. Let's get to some other callers. Let's do this.
All right. Well, let's expound upon this. I think this is the
literal spit take.
I think this is the same person.
Gaming. He got me. The president got me.
Can you hear us? Can you unmute your mic? What was the somebody did a Suno, the unmute your mic thing. I listened to it earlier. It was hilarious.
Yes. Oh, I want to shout that person out really quick.
Somebody, a fan did that and ran that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
hey there, guys.
Laughing at that pretty good. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey. So just real quick about the ostrich farm. Ezra Levant has been to the farm if you want to send him an email.
Oh, yeah.
He's interviewed people, and he's with Rebel News, so in case you're not familiar with him.
Of course.
Okay. And then I wanted to call in for a while and tell you my story.
Sweet. Let's hear it.
Okay. So I am now 62 years old. So this started back when I was 2 years old.
All right.
And my earliest memory, and I remember standing in my crib with my hands, on the top rail and watching these shadow people walk past my bedroom door. And I remember seeing them like it was yesterday, just file past my bedroom door. Then as I got older, like maybe a year later, because I'm still in my crib, they would stop at the door, each one of them, and they would stop and look in the room at me. And then they would look straight ahead and file off, and the next one would come up. And they'd look in the room and they'd file off, and this would go on for several people or whatever they were. So then as I got older and we moved, they started my bed always kind of was where the bedroom door would come in. It'd be a straight shot to my bed. So then it got to the point where, as I was probably 9 years old, 7 to 9 years old, they would come to my bedroom door and they would start walking into the bedroom toward my bed. And I'd freak out and I'd throw the covers over my head and say, Lord Jesus, help me. Lord Jesus, help me. Go away, go away, go away, go away. So as I got older, we moved again. And now the foot of my bed was at the doorway that would come into the bedroom. Then they started filing in from that doorway and like around the edge of my bed as I got older. And I was probably between 12, this went on from like 12 to probably 17 years old because I was still in high school. And the last time that I saw them, they, in a group like this, they all filed in and it seemed like this time they were all wearing robes. What that means, I don't know. But the first one was carrying a staff. And I thought, I'm not going to cover my head. I'm going to look at them. I want to know what they are. And I waited till they got like right up to my, like where my hip is. And I could look right up into the hood of the first guy. And I can't tell you, I saw eyes. I can't tell you they were red glowing or they were green. I don't remember. I blocked that out. But then I covered my head. And now I'm a Christian, right? So now I'm praying, Lord Jesus, and I'm singing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, you know?
Yep.
And that was the last time that I ever saw them in a group. But now since then, I've become, I don't know whether to say a sensitive because I am a believer, but it's like out of the corner of my eye, you know, I see someone or a shadow person, or I sense something. So I don't know if anybody out there has any ideas about, you know, what these things could be. Like I said, this started when I was 2 years old. I don't have any abduction memories.
Yep.
Nothing like that. So I don't know.
I have some questions, but what's so bizarre about this story is I just 10 or 15 minutes ago talked about this lady I knew who was a witch that I'm no longer friends with. And when things started to get weird between her and my family, she was much older than us. She told us a story about how black shadow figures used to circle her crib as a baby. And the image was extremely haunting. Very, very bizarre. And she actually said similar things happened to her and they'd follow her. She had no answer to what they were.
Right, but at the age of 2, it would have had to have been something that was passed on to my family.
Yeah, it followed you, right? It followed you from house to house. It wasn't just like a house thing.
Right, it had to have been, but I mean, it had to have been like I want to call it an ancestral curse maybe, or not a curse, but something that was given to my family, or I don't want to say the word given either, because I've never had, yes, I was afraid, but I've always looked at them as extraterrestrials, not spirit figures, not like ghosts.
Do you think this is like a curse to your bloodline?
Like a what?
Like a bloodline curse? Like one that just follows the history of the family and just continues?
Yeah.
Was there anything dark in your family history?
Not that I know of, no.
Did you...
And I don't know of any family member that was ever into witchcraft or the occult.
Right. The way you viewed this when you were a child versus the way you viewed it when you were Christian, or were you always Christian? Did you change your attitude towards them? Think certain things about them?
No, I think I changed how I dealt with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my first husband, his family was from the Philippines, and they were, for lack of a better idea, they were like the shamans of the village in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But this started way before then. But he kind of taught, because my children are sensitives to the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
And he and his family are sensitives to the spirit world. So he kind of taught me, you know, when you see things that you don't like, you can tell them to leave. You can have power over them through Christ.
Yep.
And tell them to leave. And you need to claim that. If they're scaring you, you need to claim that and command them to leave through the name of Jesus.
Agreed.
And they will leave.
Agreed. And this is, I don't know if you've listened to any prior episodes, but we've had Renee call in, and our friend Renee has had some issues, and that could be good advice for her. I know she's probably heard something like that already, but it does seem like for you, when you decided to stare it in the face, things changed, and they didn't see it as a group anymore, which is weird though, because that last interaction, according to your story, they showed up almost like it was a bigger ritual. Right?
Yes.
Because they had
But
robes on.
I have a feeling it had to do with my age and my coming of age into adulthood. Rather than.
That's freaky.
Is what I wonder.
Right.
It's like either coming of age, like, you know, you hear werewolf stories, you know, on TV. Well, when you're 13 and you reach puberty, then you're turned into a werewolf.
Right.
Or, you know, when you're 16, you become an adult, or 18, you become an adult, or you leave that house or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've kind of seen spirit things here and there, but they don't scare me anymore.
Right.
Not since my first husband taught me that I can command the name of Jesus over them for protection.
Yep. That's your best weapon against these forces. Well, I love it. Do you ever? I don't know why this reminds me of Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, gee, thanks. No, that didn't happen either.
Okay, good. That book, I don't know if you saw the book or if you read the book or saw the movie, but it's terrifying. And I think that's
I saw the movie when I was little. I'm 62, so yeah, I saw it when it first came out. I was like, whoa.
Insane. I reread that book recently, and it's actually one of the scariest books I think you could read.
Oh, yeah. I didn't read the book, but the movie was terrifying enough.
Yeah. Well, appreciate the story.
All right.
Thanks for sharing it with us. And we're going to, hopefully Renee's listening and get some inspiration.
There you go. You guys have a good night. Thanks for the call.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
If anyone out there wants to read some scary stuff for Halloween, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Young Goodman Brown. It's a little bit it's like a tough read because it's not like the way we would talk today. But when you get to the part where the forest becomes a cathedral and fire lights up and the witches are doing stuff, it's insane. Rosemary's Baby is an insane book, super scary. I think it's reality. I really do. I think that stuff happens. And then think about what happened, you know, to the director of the movie with the Manson murders. And I'm spacing on his name. What was Sharon Tate's husband's name? I should know that. The chat will know.
I can't think of it right now either.
But Faith Takes You Far. Thank you again. She says, or he says, I'm not sure. Thanks, guys. You rock. Love your show. Let's go. What was his name? What is his name? I'm looking at the chat. I could just Google it, but I'm just counting you guys now as our collective conscious. But what I was going to say is just a little tangent off of Rosemary's Baby, the movie, the Manson murders. When the director of Rosemary's Baby, I'm just going to Google it really quick, he was not home, right, when the murders happened. Why can't I think of this guy's name? Thank you. Roman Polanski. When he was...
Roman.
Thank you. I see you guys in the chat. You guys got it. Thank you. When he was in England, I think, at the time of the Tate LaBianca murders, and he was actually he was starting work on a film. I don't think he finished it. Someone else did. The film was based on basically stories we talked about in the show about dolphins being turned into assassins, which was at the time, you know, we talked about the NASA acid project on dolphins. So bizarre. Okay, back to book recommendations really quick. Yeah, The Exorcist. Yeah, my dad actually had to walk out of that movie when that came out. Silence of the Lambs is a horrifying novel. If you guys are looking for some horrifying reads, it's great. When I was teaching, I'd make the kids read that. It's really, because I'm not going to nerd out. I'll stop myself from nerding out too much, but it's really scary, very scary book. And then if you haven't read Chaos, I always say it. That's a nonfiction book, incredible book. Dead Fish Cheese Spread, great name, said dolphins need Jesus. Man, those dolphins had a rough life.
Not the one who was getting the free hand jobs.
Yo, seriously. All right, who we got? Who's next?
That's
Who
crazy because
is
that dolphin
next?
committed suicide.
It did. So did Flipper.
Maybe he did have it worse than I thought.
He did, man. acid. He was getting, da 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 da.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the acid.
Yeah.
How could I forget about the acid?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, but crazy stuff. Yeah, thank you guys in both chats on Rumble and YouTube. You guys are calling out Roman Polanski. We do have a delay, so that's probably why. Probably, I don't know, 5-second delay. How long is the delay? But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
So, I think we should, since this weekend we'll get into hopefully a little bit more.
Yep.
I've been digging into this since I got a hold of it earlier.
Okay.
Now we're just going to spend a minute on it, and I promise we'll try to get to one more caller here at
do it.
the very least. But my favorite Congresswoman,
That's right.
Anna Paulina Luna,
That's right.
did very much receive the 350-page dossier from the Russian government about JFK's assassination, and she uploaded it. It's up there.
Did you try reading it? Because I did.
The thought crossed my mind to like just pull it up and see what it looks like, just to
so
see
you
if
don't
it's
know?
satiated anything.
Oh, you don't know?
No. So what I went into was there was kind of a side file about this that basically talks about what the Russia file is. You know, it's a loosely 350-page binder. Dating between 1959 and 1964, covering a period from when Lee Harvey Oswald defected to the USSR to the period of the Warren Commission investigation in 1964.
Chat. Does anyone in chat know? Did anyone look at it? Can you tell Brandon what's in it?
I have not opened it yet
Well, it's been nothing big.
because I was
but,
assuming that it was all in Russian.
yes, it is all in Russian. And then people are using Grok to translate it. And like, I wouldn't trust.
Now, here's the thing. I looked at some of that too, and Grok's basically like, yeah, I don't see any new information, but like I could tell you about this. And it's like, no. So I don't know. They're disseminating this information from what I understand. Full translation is in effect, which I think we'll get sometime soon. If it's only 350 pages, I'm hoping it's not going to take that long. My hope is by Monday, but you know, better than to give these people deadlines. We might not see this for 45 years.
Yep.
And there
Russia
still could be nothing in it at all.
Russia says they had nothing to do with it.
Basically, that's what the synopsis is. And seeing as how they volunteered this information back to us without too much of an argument, I'm assuming there's nothing in here that's going to incriminate them in the least bit. Otherwise, why would they just willingly offered it forward?
I want to shout out to Christopher. Christopher, thank you so much. Christopher, you know I hate AI, but I love that you did this. And I did listen to it, and it's awesome. Christopher made a song in Suno. It's called Unmute Your Mic. And I wish we could play it. Is there there's not copyright with that, is there?
I feel like YouTube will find a way.
It probably will. Well, I can drop the link in the chat.
Hey, go for it. I don't think they can do anything about that.
Can you put it in the Rumble chat? Because my phone is retarded.
Let me see if I can.
I don't know if you can actually click it in the chat, so that just might have done something really stupid. You have to type out all those letters and numbers now. I thought it'd be clickable.
I was under the assumption that we were able to post links, but
That's
it depends.
ridiculous.
Rumble, I think, is different from YouTube.
You can't just post a clickable link in the chat.
Usually,
YouTube?
if you're the owner of the channel, you can, but
Goodness
I think
gracious.
YT
So you
has
probably have to
cracked
do
down
it.
a little bit on
You
that. Some
probably
of
have to
that
do it on
stuff.
your end. Yeah, YouTube. Unbelievable. Well, it's called Unmute Your Mic, and it's pretty rad. Appreciate that. Let's see what we got here from Stacy. Stay Space. Thank you so much for the chat. There's a retired Navy dolphin in Gulfport, Mississippi at their Marine Aquatic Research Center. Her name is Bo. Her duty is classified while she's still alive. She's almost 50 years old now. Well, I'm going to try to get her on the show.
I had no idea if it works, but I threw it in Rumble chat.
Sweet.
So
Thanks, dude.
There's a link in there to that Suno song. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Let us know. But thanks to our fans. You guys are awesome.
I bet we could play it. I think we should try.
I can already see Alex texting us first thing in the
Alex?
morning, like, we got demonetized.
Look, you can text me angry. Let's try to play it just a little bit. Alex, I think we're fine. I want to take the risk. It's Thursday. I want to take the risk. We'll do it live. Come on.
Shit.
Let's do it.
Hang on.
Let's do it. Imagine if this is the end of the show. This is AI's. Oh, you're gonna talk all that smack on me, Shane? This is AI rising against me now.
Yeah, you fuck on me, huh?
Well, let's play that game. Let's do it. Shout out to Christopher. Can we show the picture of it?
I've got it in.
Okay.
I have to open it in a different browser. Yeah.
Sweet.
The pre-chorus is pretty sweet. Talks about how the comets are coming and the Earth is flat and the moon is fake. You know, everything that Shane really loves. Whew. That's my spot right there.
I love it. I love it.
It's pretty heavy.
Thank you.
Got to give it up.
Yeah. Go look it up on. I don't know if you can look it up on Suno. Hopefully, you can click it on the
Suno
chat.
is putting bands out of business left and right.
It's crazy that sounds like really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm almost glad I'm not playing music anymore because having to rival shit like this just seems impossible. Somebody just put in a few words and boom, song, like breakdown, voice, everything. It's nuts.
Some Kaiser Outdoor says this is Jinko pant new metal BS. I am literally wearing Jinkos right now. I'm not. Used to.
I actually looked because I was like, shut the hell up. No, you're not.
Imagine.
You don't have a pair of Jinkos.
No.
Cut it out. No. I think I would have noticed Shane rolling up in some Jinko pants. All right.
Well, I got to figure out if you know, hey, Stacy, if you know how I can contact the Dolphin, if the Dolphin has an email, let me know. I'll hit up. Kaiser says Jinko pant new metal sucks. I was born in a Hot Topic, bro.
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
I can't help it.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's get to another caller before the end of the night here.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, sure. I'm a failed artist, Carl, whatever the hell you will. If you were actually there for it, you'd probably disagree, but what the hell do I know? I was only there for 20 years of the music career I had, so. All right, let's bring on Grant Dexter.
I used to fit so many CDs in my Jinko pockets. And a CD player with 45-second shock.
CD stores. Holy
CD
shit.
stores.
Forgot
Media
about
player,
those.
The Wall.
Man. Grant, can you hear us? Unmute your mic.
FYE. Was that a store?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yep. Guess it was. The old like disco round and stuff like that.
Yep, that's right. Black Guitar 14 said that Dolphin does remote viewing. I'm just going to believe that. I think that's, I don't know. I haven't looked up anything, but I think that's fact. It's also Scientologist.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Brandon and Shane, is it?
Yes, it is.
Correct.
I'm calling from Taiwan.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for joining us. What's going on?
You started out with astrology, and astrology only is only a thing because there is messages in the stars, but people have taken to making up their own things. If you want some real astrology, if I can say that, then you can check out the Fisk Planetarium at the University of Colorado. They have a Star of Bethlehem explanation of the stars that were in alignment and the planets in alignment at the time of the birth of Christ.
They have that like something you can go see?
Yeah, there's a guy there called, what's his name? Jill Buller, and he runs it there. There's they have every year he'll do the show.
That's cool.
So yeah,
have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I've just heard him speak about it.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Very interesting. So, is that something you follow as well?
Yeah, I follow the astronomy a bit, but Spike Saris does some good stuff, and Walt Brown, hydroplate theory, stuff like that. So actually, Walt Brown had a prediction that there would never be found interstellar comets, based on his theory. So the three comets that have come around are kind of interesting interesting challenge sort of thing.
What do you think of those?
Well, I think they're not interstellar.
Okay, tell me more.
Like all comets and asteroids, they originated on Earth.
Really?
And from
so-
what, like a crash, and they went out and are coming back?
Not a crash, more like an explosion.
Okay.
So the biblical story of the flood talks about the fountains of the great deep being bursting forth. So if you go back to the 6 days of creation, the firmament was created, separating the waters above and the waters below. So the waters below were trapped underneath the firmament, and the waters above were the oceans we had during creation. And somehow during the fall, this all got messed up and sealed off, so that the waters under the firmament, under the crust of the earth, began building up pressure, and the flood was that pressure getting released. And when the fountains burst forth, it sent material flying in every direction. So the reason we have Pluto is because of the flood.
So what's your perception of space? Are we in a closed system?
No, space is just the distance between objects. So space goes on forever.
Okay, so you believe in
how are we?
infinite
How are we?
span of
Sorry, how
space.
are we seeing this loop of things coming back at us that left us then?
Well, everything that goes up must come down, right?
So these are. You think this is a diagonal thing here? Like, what are we talking about? Like this return trajectories of these things would have had to have bounced off of something or been sent back to us if what you're saying is correct.
It's just gravity. If you throw a tennis ball up, it either has to keep going forever or it has to come back.
So you're saying it's taking just thousands and thousands of years for these things to slow down and start returning back to us?
Yeah, sure. So the latest one, Atlas 3.1 Atlas, is on the ecliptic. So it's gone. If it's come from another star, it's hit our solar system like almost perfectly in a straight line with all the planets. The other two were on a 40-degree angle, so those are more difficult to explain. But if the mass of the solar system is a little bit greater, then the problem with the interstellar objects, the reason scientists believe they're interstellar is because they're going so fast. If they're going too fast, the gravity of the sun can't draw them back. But if the mass of the solar system is greater than what scientists believe, then they could be not interstellar, if you understand that.
Yeah, so when it comes to the timelines that they're saying with this, like something like 3i Atlas, they're saying this could be older than Earth, hundreds of millions of years. You're also referencing the Bible. What is your take on the timeline? Like, how old do you think Earth is?
So the flood was about 4,000 years ago.
The what was?
So this is probably its first return.
Okay, so you believe in like a young Earth model?
Well, 6,000 years is pretty old.
Well, I agree. But like compared to what they're trying to say these days with the billions of years,
Sure.
you know, it's definitely a little younger.
Yeah, I have an inverted view of these
Good job.
general mainstream science.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree, because I was thinking about this recently. When I say things are ancient, you know, I'm seeing them as 6,000 years old as ancient, but other people have a different definition when it comes to ancient. But like when it comes to 3i Atlas, they're saying this has been traveling for hundreds of millions of years. So you have a different interpretation of what they are. You think they came from below during the flood and it's coming back, and that this is only a 4,000-year-old phenomena. And you were saying that you believe Pluto is this as well, like other planets?
Yeah, sure. So most of the stuff that got sent into space during the flood is still in the solar system. And the reason it's all water, all stuff is venting water, is because it came from Earth in a big flood.
Okay, I like this. What is the moon?
The moon is a created entity. So there are 8 planets and the moon, and that's and there's a few other moons around, but that's pretty much it when it comes to.
Is the moon
When it comes to
is the moon like
creativity.
that second light in Genesis?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
the,
Yeah,
the lesser light.
interesting. Do you
But
think?
yeah,
Sorry, one more. Let me ask one more thing. Do you
the
think?
whole. Oh,
do you
sure,
think?
sure, go ahead.
Do you think Atlas is coming back to Earth, or is
It's not coming. It's not. It's not going to come knocking on our door.
oh shucks?
But it might have. It might have moons.
Elaborate.
So if an object gets if an object in space is flying along and another object comes close to it, they're not going to start orbiting each other unless they're going the same speed, the same direction.
The one gets pulled into the other's drag based off of mass.
Right. So the gravity of the two objects is very weak. So they have to be going the same direction, the same velocity to be able to start orbiting each other. But what we see, all these comets that we look at, they're all, most all of them have got little rocks orbiting them, which shows a common origin of each of the objects.
Sweet. Who are these people you mentioned? Like Walter Brown?
Spike.
Are they talking about this kind of stuff as well? Is this how they view things in space?
Spike Passaris is Pasarris. He does videos about, quite entertaining videos about astronomy stuff. And Walt Brown has developed the hydroplate theory.
Okay.
But he's like 87, 88.
Cool.
He's a former U.S. Army Ranger.
Okay, neat. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that perspective, and I'm going to look into it. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get out of here tonight?
That's all. Good show. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
man.
the phone call.
Have a good night, man.
Incredible.
Good night.
Earth is 6,000 years old. Right, Brandon? He's
If you
like,
say so, man. I think it's been
I'm
here a lot
convinced.
longer than that.
I'm convinced. Yellow Tiger 47 has an interesting question. Do you see this? This is a good question. Do planets poop? I think Earth does.
What do you think humans are?
Oh man. Not Brian 413 says the Pluto stuff ain't too shabby though, caller. It's got what the moon, Karen, the messenger and doll, so good metaphor at least. Karen is in was it Karen who was the one who ferried people across the river Styx?
I got a title. Poopy Planet and the Invasion of the Piss Witches.
I was like, I hope he ends it with the piss witches.
Let's go.
Perfect. Kekari59 says Earth is much older. Yeah, it's either 6,000 years old or 60 billion years old. I love looking at the history of what people viewed the age of Earth as and how it changed during the age of like nuclear power, and around the 40s really is when people started to think it was way older. But everyone up until that, not everyone, but a lot of people up until that mostly believed in the 6,000 years.
That seems too short to me.
Nah, dude, that's a long time.
It really isn't.
Ryan Christos has a good point too. Moon equals Earth poop.
Sure. It's fine.
Amazing.
That's fine.
Did I miss any chats here? I know there was some stuff I wanted to see. I took screenshots of. I can't believe it's 11:58 already. Really appreciate that. I saw a chat from earlier from SW1SSCH33ZUS. Sounds like you're named after a comet that we don't know about yet. But you said greetings from Switzerland. Shout out. That's amazing. That's
the
awesome.
Swiss.
Scom KD said, Shane, these guys lie all the time so they can get grants. Do not trust them. I believe you're talking about the tech bros. And I agree. I mean, look at what's happening right now. They're all getting a ton of money.
So what's up with your buddy? Is your buddy Peter Thiel actually filed to?
That was a joke.
Oh, I was like, is that real? Because like I looked at that and I'm like, wow.
It makes sense though. It makes sense though. You know, South Park made fun of him last night.
Really?
They did a whole thing on his Antichrist stuff.
I wonder if they're secretly watching our show.
I think so. Mr.
Matt and Trey, shout out.
Vendetti. I'd bet our secret cabal of lizard people overlords initiated years ago to try and control us. They lost control of whatever they started, and it's just running rampant without their control anymore. Well, that sounds about right. Man, so many.
iCare says, Brandon and Shane, Halloween special, 4 hours? Question mark. Oh, you're gonna get at least 3 out of us.
We're definitely gonna try 3.
We're gonna go for 3, and we're gonna see where
We're
we
gonna
land.
try 3, but maybe 24.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows where we're at?
Stephen Wolf 9085. You said my ancestors on my mom's side were Mennonites who settled here, and William Penn gave them 1,300 acres of land initially, and the rest of the family came over and found several counties in PA. That's sick. That's awesome.
Pickpool says, does Shane believe in carbon dating?
No, it's fake. It's just science baloney. Sounds like something Fauci would talk about.
That's I want to start an old people dating site and just call it carbon dating. I think that's a genius idea. I think we can totally make this work, and then we can take the money and build our planetarium at the compound here, and then we'll give you guys. My hope is that we somehow find a way to get a live feed of AI. And we can put it up, and then we just have it kind of sitting in, kind of like Herbie on the show, where we just do like one of these, but it's just AI Atlas in the middle instead of Herbie. So I think that'd be pretty dope.
That would be great.
We'll get there one day.
Yep, we're getting there.
We're greasing the wheels, guys.
Yep, we're getting there. Brandon, let them know where to find you.
As always, you can find me at Brando Inverted on Insta and on X. Thanks to all of our callers. Thanks to everybody all week, our guests. It's been a crazy-ass week. Thanks for hanging with us. We will see you next week for another 4 days of madness and weirdom. Shane, get us out of here.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining us this week. It was a really fun week. Thank you to all the guests we had. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be re-airing our interview with Rex Jones. The day after Rex is on the show is when the Supreme Court decided to not help out Alex Jones and InfoWars, which is a real bummer. And so it'll be very relevant to listen to that again if you guys tune in. But we'll be back on Monday, and we can't wait to see you guys on Monday. It's going to be a wild week ahead of us. And I hope you'll have a safe weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Watch out for the piss witches.
That's right.